My manager stood 2 inches from my face and hissed, "Quit, or I'll make your life hell." I had just exposed the missing $8 million from our project budget, and instead of thanking me, he threatened me. In front of the whole floor. No shame. No fear. Just raw arrogance. My name is Luna. I wasn't supposed to find it. But I did. A quiet mistake in the quarterly report, a line item that didn't belong. One late night turned into a full investigation. And by the end of the week, I had proof. Millions gone. No trace of where it went. But one name kept popping up, Jordan Gray, my manager. The golden boy of the company. The one everyone praised. So I did what I thought was right. I sent a private report to the CEO, flagged, confidential. But Jordan found out. And instead of facing consequences, I did. He cornered me Monday morning near the elevators. No cameras. No witnesses. "You think you're smart?" he growled. "I built this place. You're just a replaceable intern with a laptop. Quit now, or I swear, Luna, I'll ruin you." I said nothing. But inside, I burned. He didn't know the full truth. He thought I was just a quiet analyst with a spreadsheet. What he didn't know was that I had already sent the report. To external auditors too. Including a full backup of every financial record, tied to his private offshore account. And I wasn't quitting. Not now. Because I had worked in silence for 3 years, fixing other people's mistakes, cleaning up. Behind big titles and fake smiles. This time, I wasn't backing down. He declared war. But I had already set the trap. By Tuesday morning, my system access was revoked. My company email? Disabled. HR said it was a technical glitch. But I wasn't stupid. Jordan was already pulling strings. He was moving fast, trying to erase the evidence, silence me before the truth spread. But it was too late for him. I had printed everything. Every forged invoice, every dummy vendor, every offshore transfer. He thought I was working alone. He didn't know I had copied the files to a secure drive, and given one backup to my cousin, a journalist at a major news agency. At 11:47 a.m., I got a call from an unknown number. "Luna," the voice said. "This is not going to end well for you. You're playing with fire. You have no idea who you're messing with." It was Jordan. But his voice wasn't strong anymore. He was scared. Because deep down, he knew. The silence from upper management? That wasn't support, it was distance. They were watching, waiting, preparing to choose sides. And I was making it harder for them to protect him. At noon, I walked into the office building, not as an employee, but as a guest. I handed the receptionist a sealed envelope. "For the CEO," I said. Inside was a copy of every document. Every stolen dollar. Every lie. I didn't wait around. I just walked out, calm, collected, and wearing the same blazer Jordan once said was too plain for leadership. That night, an internal memo leaked. Urgent, financial review. All department heads to report tomorrow morning. Mandatory. I knew what was coming. The wolves were turning on their own. But I wasn't just going to watch from the sidelines. Tomorrow, I would be in that room. Because the audit team had just requested my presence. As a key witness. The room was ice cold. Not because of the AC, but because no one dared to speak. 15 executives sat around the long glass table, eyes shifting, hands fidgeting. At the head sat the CEO, and right beside him, me. Luna. The invisible analyst they never saw coming. Jordan walked in 10 minutes late. Red-eyed. No tie. Fake confidence dripping off his forced smile. He paused when he saw me in his chair, the one he always used in meetings, just to feel taller. "Why is she here?" he asked. The CEO didn't even blink. "Sit down, Jordan." He did. Then the lead auditor plugged in a USB. What followed was 20 minutes of silence, broken only by clicks and gasps. Slide after slide. Document after document. The missing $8 million. Vendor names that didn't exist. Payments to accounts. Tied to Jordan's cousin. Vacation properties. Luxury cars. All buried under fake development budgets. Jordan tried to interrupt. "This is a setup, someone's clearly," the CEO slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. We have your voice on tape threatening Luna. We have your signature on payments you tried to erase. And we have 3 former employees willing to testify, under oath." Jordan froze. It was over. But I wasn't done. I slid a final document. Across the table. "This," I said calmly, "is a list of 26 projects that were delayed or destroyed because of his theft. Layoffs. Budget cuts. Careers ruined." I looked him in the eye. "You didn't just steal money, Jordan. You stole time. You stole futures." The CEO nodded. "Effective immediately, Jordan Gray is terminated. Legal action is already in motion." And Luna, he turned to me. I owe you an apology. And an offer. Everyone stared. I sat quietly. Because I knew what came next would change everything. I didn't answer right away. I let the silence sit in the room like smoke. The same people who once ignored my emails, talked over me in meetings, and laughed when Jordan dismissed me as just the data girl, now waited for my response like their careers depended on it. Because maybe they did. The CEO leaned forward. Luna, you saved this company. Tell me what you want. I looked him straight in the eye. I want Jordan's salary, reassigned to a new role. Chief Integrity Officer. And I want full independence, no one controls my audits, not even you. He raised an eyebrow. That's a big ask. So was trusting me, I said. But I still did my job. He paused, then slowly nodded. Done. I could feel the tension in the room shift. Whispers. Phones buzzing under the table. A few execs looked worried, like I might start digging into their files next. And they were right. Because I wasn't done. Not even close. Outside the building, reporters were already gathering. Somehow, word had leaked. Or maybe someone from legal tipped them off. Either way, the story was spreading fast. $8M scandal exposed by junior analyst was already trending. But the real twist? Jordan never made it to his car. He was stopped at the parking garage by two plainclothes officers. Jordan Gray? You're under investigation for corporate fraud, embezzlement, and obstruction of justice. His mouth opened. No words. Just flashing lights. Camera shutters. The end of his untouchable world. And me? I walked past it all, calm and focused. Because this wasn't revenge. This was accountability. 2 months later, I walked back into that same building, but this time, everyone stood up when I entered. Not out of fear. But out of respect. The plaque outside my new office read, Luna Reyes, Chief Integrity Officer. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Private keycard access. And the same laptop I used to take down a multi-million-dollar scam, still sitting on my desk like a trophy. Jordan's trial was public. Every detail, from the forged invoices to the fake shell companies, became part of the official record. He pleaded guilty. 12 years without parole. And not a single one of his old coworkers defended him. Turns out, once the mask drops, so do the allies. But the real victory? Was what happened inside the company. We built a new system. Transparent. Fair. Bulletproof. And for the first time in years, employees weren't scared to speak up. They weren't invisible. They were valued. Because they saw what happened when one person, even the quiet one, stood up. One afternoon, the CEO stopped by my office. No cameras. No press. Just a quiet moment. You know, he said, when you exposed everything? I didn't expect you to stay. I smiled. That's exactly why I did. He nodded. And that's exactly why you're leading now. I looked out the window at the skyline, the same one I used to dream about from a shared desk in the corner. This wasn't just a job anymore. It was a message. To every manager who thinks they're untouchable. To every underdog still grinding in silence. And to every Luna out there, wondering if speaking up is worth it. It is. Because sometimes, the quietest one in the room ends up being the one who saves it.